Activate the Jaeger in 3, 2, 1.
Today we face the monsters that are at our door. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
Hello YouTube, you are here back again with Lost Skies 17.
And the Crypto Nova, and today we will be reviewing Pacific Rim. Now we are going to be giving a brief summary of the movie.
Okay, so when legions of monstrous creatures, known as kaiju, started rising from the sea, a war begins that would take millions of lives and consume humanity's resources for years on end.
To battle the giant kaiju, a special type of weapon was devised. Massive robots, called Jaegers, which are controlled simultaneously by two pilots, whose minds are locked in a neural handshake. Now we are going to be giving our opinions of the movie.
All in all, Pacific Rim was a wild ride of excitement, action, and emotions that kept me wide-eyed and jaw-open throughout the majority of the movie. The action and battle scenes in this movie get a huge thumbs up, and I left satisfied with what they had done with that. Although there was about a 15 to 20 minute gap after the opening fight scene that dragged on a little slow, but it certainly made up for it when the action hit like thunder and lightning, and it didn't stop from there with the Jaegers and Kaijus going at it non-stop. I loved it. The diverse range of characters in this movie, from Jaeger pilots like Riley Beckett to nerdy scientists like Dr. Newton Giesler, I think that's how you say it, gave this movie an edge that I really liked. I haven't seen a movie like this type of storyline since Godzilla. Monstrous creatures attacking the city, destroying everything in its path, and it was really just awesome and refreshing for me to finally get to watch this movie.
Yes, I agree. I think this movie was really well made. The storyline was amazing and the action was awesome. I also really liked how instead of just making it like an action movie about giant monsters, they made it also kind of emotional. Like when Riley's brother was taken and killed by the kaiju, and when Stacker had to blow up himself and Chuck in their Jaeger to help Riley complete the mission. But overall, I really thought this movie was amazing, and it was very enjoyable. Now we're going to be talking about the acting.
The acting in this movie was really impressive, and that's why it made my MVP selection a little tougher this time, because actors like Idris Elba, who played Stacker Pentecost, Charlie Day, who played Dr. Newton Giesler, and Charlie Hunnam, who played Riley Beckett, all did really good jobs in this movie. But my MVP selection this week for Pacific Rim is Charlie Day, who played Dr. Newton. I chose him because right from the start, right from the very first scene that he was in, I automatically knew he was my favorite character. And everything he did, the acting with emotion, humor, fear, everything, etc., were all just brilliant by Charlie Day in this movie. So that's why he's my MVP for Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I agree. He did a really good job. I thought the acting was amazing. They did really good jobs portraying their characters and were really good at expressing their emotions. From anger to sadness to happiness, they did an excellent job. And I thought they fit their parts perfectly, especially Idris Elba, who played Stacker Pentecost. But overall, the acting was amazing.
Agreed. Now we will be discussing the soundtrack.
Okay, I thought that this movie's soundtrack was awesome. It had some really good music, which is one of the reasons that made it look awesome in the trailer. I remember when I first heard about the movie, I was watching TV and I saw an advertisement for it. The way that the songs matched the battles was awesome, and it looked epic. I have a lot of favorite soundtracks, and this is definitely going on the list. I think my favorite song from the soundtrack would have to be Go Big or Go Extinct, which was composed by Raymond Djawadi, I think it's pronounced. But I also liked Pentecost. But to sum it all up, the soundtrack was awesome.
The soundtrack in this movie, it was good and all, but I would have to say it was the down point of the movie. I found that the music for the battle scenes, they were decently epic, and like I always say, the music is what makes the movie more epic, but that isn't the case with this movie. It was just as epic without the music, and even though the music was the weak link of this movie, I do have to say that for once, I'm going to make an exception, and I'm saying this movie did perfectly fine without having an extremely good over-the-top soundtrack. I'm not saying it was bad by any means. I'm just saying it's not as good as I would have hoped, but it was still a good soundtrack. Not great, but good. I must say it does suit this movie, and even though I'm saying it's not great, but I do like the soundtrack, and it is good and right on the verge of greatness. It was good. I liked it. Now, we will be discussing animation.
Yes, my favorite part. I think that the animation in this movie was some of the best animation I have seen in a long time. Well, in recent movies anyways. I really liked how detailed the kaijus were, and also the Jaegers, and I take my hat off to the animation crew. It must have taken them ages to animate everything. You may disagree with me when I say this, but I think the animation in this movie almost seemed lifelike. From the way the
I agree with that, actually.
Yes. From the way the kaijus move to the way they react when they were attacked, it was awesome, and I can't imagine how long it took them to animate everything. Overall, this movie has some of the most epic animation I've seen in any of the movies that I have.
Now, for my opinion on the animation, I don't really know where to start besides from picking my jaw up off the ground and blinking a few times because I just had to keep my eyes open. I didn't want to miss anything of this. The animation is what made this movie so amazing and so epic. The animation is the reason my jaw was on the floor because it was so great. It was just so impressive and just unreal to say the least. Definitely one of my favorite animations for a movie that I've seen in a while. The Jaegers and the Kijus both were just so lifelike, and whenever they battled, it was just so crazy. It was so real. I just loved it.
And now, we will be giving our ratings.
Okay, so overall, I loved the movie. It was really good. And Lost Guy is going to give Pacific Rim a rating of 8. I'm going to give it an 8.
Nice. I really love this movie. I am, like, since I was little, I always liked, like, science fiction movies about, like...
Me too, I love sci-fi movies too.
I know. Like, I used to watch, like, all these crazy movies when I was younger about, like, giant crocodiles and stuff. And...
Remember when we watched Godzilla together?
Oh my gosh, that
when
was
we
a
were
good
younger?
movie. Yeah. But
Oh,
most times, sci-fi movies don't really have good animation. But this movie, really good. The soundtrack, amazing acting, awesome. I'm giving this a 9.
Nice, nice. So I guess we're going to have to come to an agreement of 8.5. KNLG Movie Reviews is giving this an 8.5 for Pacific Rim.
That's pretty good. Okay, well, we hope you enjoy our YouTube video on our review for Pacific Rim.
Please comment in below what you want us to do next, because we saw a few of you guys put Pacific Rim, so we decided to do that for you. And we will be letting you know, and you guys let us know if you guys want us to make a collab channel to do it on. We just want to get a good fan base going first, too.
Yep. Okay, well, that's all for today, and we will see you next week with our next review.
Thanks, guys. See you later.